never seen anything like that before.
Mom, when we get home.
An Iowa resident captured a scene right out of a doomsday movie. Looking out from his office window, he saw several vortexes come together to create a massive tornado. In pictures, it might look like just a big cloud, but seeing it spin was really creepy. Despite its massive size, the tornado only damaged property. Luckily, no one in the area was hurt. The tributary of the Big Eelvenden River splits off near the Pacific Ocean and stretches for about 62 miles through Humboldt County in Northern California. It's a favorite place for fishing, camping, and hiking. On March 14th, 2023, a sunny day, a married couple decided to take a morning walk by the river. They were ready for a bit of water on their boots, but not for what happened next. First, they saw the cliff's earth fall away, then the rocks started crumbling like a scene from an end-of-the-world movie. Suddenly, a tsunami-like wave was barreling towards them down the river. It was definitely time to move on, even with soaked boots. Fortunately, it wasn't swimming season in March. A recycling yard is a place where recyclable materials are collected, sorted, processed, and prepped for reuse or sale. At a ship recycling yard, a 1,900 metric ton vessel undergoes controlled beaching, hitting the shore at 20 nautical miles per hour. This isn't an accident, but a planned crash into the harbor to start the recycling process. In the video, a building demolition in a town center unfolds with impressive precision. The process is crucial, as any mistake could potentially damage adjacent buildings. Fortunately, the demolition proceeds according to plan. Here's another video showing the dangers of disturbing the environment's delicate balance. People at the site barely escaped a dangerous situation. Taiwan, known for its stunning natural landscapes, diverse ecosystems, and rich biodiversity, was struck by a powerful 7.5 magnitude earthquake on April 29, 2024. The earthquake triggered a devastating landslide that caused significant disruption and loss of life. Occurring in the early morning hours, the quake caught many residents unaware as they slept. The intense tremors shook buildings, toppled structures, and triggered landslides in the mountainous regions. This tragic event highlighted the critical need for disaster preparedness and resilient infrastructure to mitigate the impact of natural disasters in the future. In 2011, off the coast of New Zealand, The container ship MV Rena ran aground on the Astrolabe Reef. The accident was attributed to the ship's master failing to navigate the vessel properly during bad weather. The grounding of MV Rena resulted in a substantial oil spill that had devastating consequences for the local marine environment and ecosystem. In response to this catastrophe, New Zealand implemented stricter regulations for shipping in its waters and enhanced monitoring and enforcement measures to prevent similar incidents in the future. There's no predicting when the boulder might tip and come crashing down, picking up speed like a cannonball. This man was on his way back to Taipei after celebrating the Lunar New Year with friends in a nearby town. He certainly won't forget this New Year break after such a close call. Pataz, known for its rugged terrain, rich biodiversity, and gold mining activities, offers a unique blend of natural beauty and cultural heritage. On March 15, 2022, a significant landslide struck, affecting a considerable number of homes. The exact casualty count remains unknown, but efforts were swiftly mobilized to rescue any survivors trapped after the massive landslide buried several people and destroyed dozens of homes. The Yogi superyacht, valued at $14 million and the pride of its owner, tragically sank off the Italian coast in a dramatic event. Just a year into its journey across the seas, it became the largest yacht ever to go down. The crew was rescued by helicopter minutes before the yacht disappeared beneath the waves. Known for its world-class resort-like amenities, the sinking raised many unanswered questions. Despite warnings of severe storms and 16-foot waves, the Yogi continued its voyage. The exact cause of the sinking remains a mystery, with speculation ranging from mechanical failure to sabotage, though no official explanation has been provided yet. The next footage is fascinating. Like watching dominoes fall, one thing triggers the next, and everything collapses together. It appears to be a powerful explosion, but there's a noticeable delay of 2 to 3 seconds before we hear it. It's quite impressive, isn't it? Iceland's black beaches are truly unique. The sand and rocks are black due to volcanic activity, making it a stunning landscape that draws many tourists. However, visitors need to be cautious while walking here. The cliffs are unpredictable, and large rock slides can suddenly fall from above into the cold Atlantic waters. Recently, 2 groups of tourists had to quickly move to safety, grateful that the falling rocks missed them. The demolition of the chimney at Grain Power Station in Kent, UK, was a major event involving the tallest concrete structure ever demolished in Britain.
Wow. Wow.
The power station once played a crucial role in the UK's electricity generation. Controlled explosives were used in the demolition, strategically placed to ensure the chimney fell safely in a predetermined direction, minimizing impact on the environment and nearby infrastructure.
It's going to be good to press the button and see it go, but I was involved in getting things done to it as well, so it's going to be the end of an era. It's going to be a big chunk off the landscape.
Demolishing such a tall and massive structure posed significant safety and environmental challenges, requiring careful planning and execution. The demolition is part of broader efforts to deindustrialize and clear the site for potential redevelopment or alternative uses.
Emotional. I found it. I felt quite pride.
Really?
It's so sad to see the thing come down like that.
Emotional for me because I see it go up many years ago and see it come down. I was a bit tearful.
After demolition, the site holds potential for various developments, including energy projects that adhere to modern environmental standards. Sometimes landslides are so powerful that they completely alter the landscape of a place. They even need to redraw their maps because of this. Parking in the mountains comes with risks, like avalanches. Visitors to the Elbrus area parked their cars for a usual day of skiing or snowboarding, not expecting an avalanche to sweep down the mountains soon after. Within minutes, it reached the parking lot and buried the cars under thick snow. This is certainly not what anyone would expect to happen during a snowboarding trip. In India, many roads wind through hilly areas, like the Kashmir Valley. A tunnel about 2,887 feet long was built between Jammu and Srinagar to protect drivers from landslides and rock falls. It opened in March 2023 but had to close a few weeks later. Just when workers thought they were done, one last rock fell, causing a stir. Luckily, no one was hurt, although an army vehicle did get hit by a rock. To reopen this crucial all-weather highway linking Kashmir with the rest of India, the construction team had to put in extra hours to ensure their landslide protections held up. Here's the damage caused by a hurricane with a pretty name. Nora hit Mexico, pouring down way more rain than usual and making the river levels shoot up. Sadly, one of the bridges couldn't handle the strong current and fell apart right in front of everyone. Although authorities had warned everyone about the danger and stopped traffic, people still showed up to see what the storm could do. By their reactions, it was clear they didn't expect the bridge to be totally destroyed. The last thing you want to encounter at your camp at 13,100 feet is a massive avalanche coming right at you.
I think I might come to camp. Oh my God, Jesus. Oh my God. Get out, Paul, get out. Get out. What do we do? Look. Get back on the train.
It's a miracle that no one was injured. Human error doesn't often cause rock slides, but it can happen. Here, it looks like just a simple touch brought down a rock that had been there since the Ice Age. It was apparently already unstable, and these guys made the area safer for climbing. There are different ways to launch a ship, one of which is by placing large cylinders under it and inflating them. However, this method has risks, like the ship tilting to one side. This happened in Jakarta. As the ship was being moved on inflatable cylinders, it suddenly started leaning to one side. The tilt increased as it moved backward, and eventually, the ship fell onto its side. The scariest part was that sailors were on board when it happened. They had a few minor injuries, but overall, the launch was a disaster. This video could be mistaken for a scene from a post-apocalyptic movie, but it's real. It shows what happened after a storm in Savona, Italy, led to a huge fire. Extremely strong winds knocked down trees, heavy rain flooded the city, and eventually, a short circuit in a car park set things off. Some car batteries exploded, and quickly, fire spread throughout the area. About 1,500 cars were destroyed, making the whole scene look very eerie. Just after dealing with one avalanche, people in a district in Dagestan faced several more, one right after the other. In a short time, 7 avalanches rolled through the area. Local workers tried to clear part of the highway, but it quickly got covered with snow again. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but many were stuck in their villages. It's tough to picture the chaos, but they say they worked together and sorted everything out in just a few days. Landslides and rock falls happen often in China because of its wet climate, steep hills, and frequent earthquakes that can loosen the soil. The people in the Ingawa Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture saw how fast a landslide can disrupt their lives. On May 8, 2023, a thick layer of soil slid down, blocked the road, and kicked up a lot of dust. Looking at the wet path left on the slope, it seems like this could keep happening for a while. Rescue teams had to wait until it was completely safe before they could start clearing the road. Luckily, there was an alternate route around the mountain. Don't like the roads in your town? See what nature did to them in Brazil. It's going to be expensive for the county, and the road will probably be closed for months. This steep cliff has been shaped over centuries by weather, temperature changes, rain, and underground water. Such mountains are always beautiful, especially with tropical plants, like in this Nepalese village. However, they can be unpredictable. In this video, the latest monsoon season pushed the mountain to its limit. It collapsed into the river, causing water to splash and disrupting the usual flow. These natural events always look incredibly epic. Building roads through mountains often comes with the risk of collapses and rock falls. This time, though, the workers were alert and quickly moved away from the danger zone. No one was hurt in this incident, only an excavator and a truck were damaged. Luckily, it happened on a day off, so the vehicles were unoccupied. When the rocks fell, they made a loud noise and filled the air with dust. Thankfully, local officials had anticipated the landslide and had already stopped traffic. What do you think? Are we getting better at handling and preventing such events in the future? Collisions can happen due to human error, bad weather that reduces visibility or makes steering hard, and equipment failure. A container ship lost control in a port, hitting another ship sideways and almost crushing a tugboat.
Çiğnendik abi, gel buraya, çiğnendik.
İçinde adamlar bekliyor hala gemi.
The container ship seemed to veer out of control before getting back on course, nearly crushing the tugboat and colliding with a nearby berthed ship. Everyone knows about the Alps, but have you heard of the Southern Alps? They're in the Southern Hemisphere too. This mountain range is in New Zealand, and the rockfall you're seeing happened there. It's not just a rockfall. It looks like an entire mountainside is collapsing. Sometimes, a small shift can trigger a chain reaction, moving huge amounts of rock. It's amazing how these rocks have been stable for thousands of years and are now falling apart right before our eyes. In 2022, Yellowstone National Park in the USA faced its worst flooding in 100 years. Heavy rainfall and melting snow caused the rivers to overflow, flooding the park. Park staff had to quickly evacuate thousands of visitors who hadn't even fully started their outdoor activities. The most frightening part was seeing roads get washed away and water reaching homes. The shores eroded and houses fell into the water like they were toys. Fortunately, the park staff managed to alert everyone in time, and nobody was injured. When it rains heavily in northern India, the area, especially in the Himalayas, can become very dangerous.
Çiğnendik abi, gel buraya, çiğnendik.
The fast thinking and skill of the drivers stopped anyone from getting hurt, showing just how intense nature can get at times like these. Take a look at the damage from an extraordinary flood in New England. The rain was so constant that even days after it ended, many rivers were still overflowing. Locals say the whims of nature did a lot of damage to things like roads and bridges, and you can see just how bad it was by looking at this bridge. A surveillance camera in a Swiss village caught the intense moment when a landslide hit a carpentry workshop. In just a few minutes, mud swamped the workshop and nearby areas, causing a lot of damage. Even though landslides might look slow and not too dangerous, they can easily destroy buildings. Homes in the village were also damaged, but luckily, everyone got out safely because they evacuated in time. California often experiences earthquakes, so it's known for its unstable ground.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Смотри, сейчас что с мостом будет.
However, despite the frequent quakes, geologists are saying that the recent landslide in the La Jolla area of San Diego is the largest one in 40 years. Some people build their homes by rivers without fully appreciating how powerful water can be. In Montana, a combination of heavy snowmelt and rain made the river rise by 4 meters. The rising water quickly eroded the riverbanks. Sadly for those living there, their riverside homes took a big hit. They could do nothing but watch as their large house was swept away by the water. It's really horrifying to see your home carried off like that. You might be asking why there are so many branches and logs here. A researcher explained that in Switzerland, when the ground is dry, it can't soak up water like it usually does. So, after a long drought, when a hurricane hit the town, the rivers overflowed much quicker than normal. The fast-moving water picked up not only debris from the riverbed, but also dried sticks and bits of trees from the banks. It's really something to see how powerful nature can be, creating such a dramatic scene. Landslides can look like scenes from an apocalyptic movie. It's mesmerizing to watch mountains and hills, usually solid and stable, suddenly slide and destroy everything around them. That's the feeling you get from this landslide in Colombia. Fortunately, it only caused material damage and no one was hurt. If the sight of rocks falling down the cliff alarms you, don't worry. They do that intentionally. They use controlled explosions to remove dangerous rocks before they can cause any problems. This time, they brought down 120,000 cubic feet of rock, and the road was back open in just half an hour. This rock slide took place on a curvy mountain road in the Chinese town of Jinzhou. The driver saw something moving ahead. What looked like an illusion at first was actually a rock starting to roll. Small stones fell first, just a warning of what was to come. An orange pickup truck was lucky to avoid the falling debris, becoming the sole witness to this scary event. The driver smartly reversed and watched as the side of the mountain came crashing down. Although the situation looked dramatic, nobody was hurt, and the police quickly closed the road. It took a while to clear all the rocks, showing how tough it can be to handle such natural events in isolated places. Gibraltar is famous for the Rock of Gibraltar, a key feature of its landscape. On October 10, 2008, a major maritime incident happened off Gibraltar's coast involving the bulk carrier Fedra. In severe weather, the 35,000-ton Panamanian registered ship ran aground and split in two near Europa Point. The ship was anchored off Gibraltar when it faced strong winds and waves from a storm. Tropical storms often cause geological threats and can turn into crises quickly. On that day in Malaysia, tourists filmed a wide mudslide blocking the road. The people were stuck for quite a while until rescue teams arrived. If you think it's easy to avoid a natural disaster, think twice. Look at this hotel, for instance. When severe floods hit, the water flowed into the parking lot so strongly that it overtook everything, including sweeping away furniture like it was nothing. Think about what that kind of power could do to a person. Luckily, no one was in the parking lot when it happened. The noise from this rockfall in Switzerland could be heard across the whole valley, which isn't shocking considering it involved 2,000 cubic meters of rock. With that much force, it could destroy trees or even houses easily. Luckily, geologists had marked this area as dangerous a few years back and were keeping an eye on it. Thanks to their early warnings, villagers had time to get out of homes at the mountain's base before it was too late. One of the scariest tasks for a demolition worker is bringing down a nuclear power plant's cooling tower. The Trojan facility in Rainier, Oregon, was the state's only nuclear plant. Despite operating safely for over a decade, it was closed in 2006 due to pressure from environmental activists, even though it had at least 20 more years of operational life left. The demolition of its cooling tower was the first of its kind, and the U.S. charges were carefully placed to make sure the huge structure fell within a small area. Dismantling the plant cost $230 million. However, demolition has its own challenges, like creating large amounts of dust, noise, smoke, and odor. People living near demolition sites risk exposure to harmful discharges, including gas leaks caused by the demolition. The process often generates a lot of smoke and dust, which can be harmful to those with respiratory problems. This is a mud flow, common in mountainous areas like this small stream in Switzerland. Mud flows usually occur in spring or summer, triggered by melting snow or heavy rain. A mud flow is water mixed with up to 75% rock fragments, rushing down the riverbed or canyon at about 5 meters per second. With its speed and mass, a mud flow has a lot of destructive power. In the past, mud flows have destroyed entire towns, but if the flow stays within its channel, like it did here, the damage is minimized and everything stays fine. This disturbing video shows what happened after a dam broke in Michigan. Following 3 days of nonstop rain, the dam failed and released a massive amount of water. The water moved quickly and soon reached the nearest town. Several thousand people had to be evacuated as many homes were submerged. The water even affected a second dam further down. Nearby towns saw streets flooded several feet deep, forcing residents to leave their homes and head for higher areas as the water continued to rise. It's heartbreaking to watch your home get swallowed by water like that. When you think of Mexico, you might picture sombreros, cacti, and tequila, but it's also home to mountains that are prone to rockfalls. A recent landslide in Veracruz County destroyed a road and isolated 6 communities. It's really wild. Seeing so much debris slide down like that is both unreal and scary. Building the bridge in this spot was a really smart move. It gave people a safe place to take cover during a huge avalanche. The snow kept falling from the mountain for what seemed like forever. At least those who saw it could watch from somewhere safe. Taking down a bridge is different from demolishing a building. Handling what's below requires careful work. The bridge in question is a cantilever truss bridge over the West Passage of Narragansett Bay, connecting Connecticut Island to North Kingstown, Rhode Island. It opened in 1939, replacing ferry service as the main link for Jamestown on Connecticut Island. However, driving over it was scary, especially in high winds, and it was a navigation problem for boats. The state demolished it in 2006 with 350 shaped charges, creating a stunning display as the bridge fell into the water. Many people gathered to watch the demolition. Heavy rains in China can cause more than just floods. They can wash away topsoil in the mountains and loosen big boulders. On a rainy day in August 2015, local road workers saw cracks on the mountainside. Small rocks had already started to fall, so they quickly closed the road and waited for the bigger landslide they knew was coming. They were ready, and the landslide was caught on film, though it appeared in the shot unexpectedly. It took about 20 hours to clear the road. China has made a science out of managing landslides. With such events happening often, reliable methods are crucial. The most important thing is that closing roads in time can save lives. It's truly upsetting to see what happened with the Queen Hind, a converted Ro-Ro ship built in 1980. It was carrying 14,600 sheep when it capsized due to maneuvering issues, just a few hundred meters from the wharf. This happened on November 25, 2019, in what were supposed to be calm and safe waters of the port, showing the risks of transporting livestock by sea. Out of the 14,600 sheep, only 33 survived, but all 22 Syrian crew members made it out safely. One of the largest trade disruptions in recent history happened in 2021 when the container ship MV Ever Given ran aground in the Suez Canal. Factors like high winds, poor visibility, and navigational errors all played roles in the accident. The grounding of MV Ever Given caused a backlog of ships waiting to transit through the canal, leading to substantial delays and higher costs in international trade. This incident spurred discussions about investing more in alternative routes like the Northern Sea Route and highlighted the need for improvements in shipping safety measures. Hurricane Sandy, also known as Superstorm Sandy, was one of the most devastating hurricanes of the 2012 Atlantic hurricane season. It originated from a tropical wave in the Western Caribbean Sea on October 22, 2012, rapidly intensifying into a tropical storm and later becoming a hurricane on October 24th as it moved northward across the Caribbean.
Look at that big cloud of dust. I have never seen. Guy, it's blue right there, and then there's a huge dust cloud.
How about you just go into it?
That is freaky.
Totally freaky.
I've never seen anything like that before.
The storm impacted 8 countries, including the United States, Canada, and several Caribbean nations, resulting in a total of 233 deaths. In the U.S. alone, Sandy was directly or indirectly responsible for 147 deaths.
Get home as fast as you
I
can.
have never seen anything like that before.
Mom, let me get home.
No.
Is it?
Oh, you have the video camera too?
I have the video camera. I'm videoing it right now. We're in the middle of it.
I just called. She's driving up from like the south, and she said like she's getting engulfed in this freaking like black.
Where's the fog light button?
Uh huh.
Has Greg seen one like this before?
It's not funny.
Have you seen it? All right, he just.
The storm caused severe flooding, particularly in New York City and New Jersey, where the storm surge struck on October 29th, inundating streets, tunnels, and subway lines, and causing widespread power outages in the surrounding areas. The historic city of Petropolis, known as the Imperial City, located in the mountainous region of Rio de Janeiro State, Brazil, was struck by a devastating landslide captured in disturbing video footage. Heavy rainfall led to severe flooding and landslides, impacting the city to the north of Rio de Janeiro. More than 24 hours after the tragic event, survivors continued to search for missing family members. The disaster resulted in the burial of at least 113 homes, with hillside communities demolished and vehicles swept away by floodwaters on city roads. Illinois, known as the Land of Lincoln due to its association with Abraham Lincoln's political beginnings, recently experienced a major incident involving multiple collisions.
Lord.
The Illinois State Police reported that over 100 vehicles were involved in crashes in the southbound lanes near El Paso around 3:13 p.m., approximately 50 miles east of Peoria. The incident created a chaotic scene with damaged cars and semi-trucks, prompting drivers to seek safety urgently. Fishing boats are known for accidents at sea, whether the crew is unprepared or it's just bad luck. Many fishing trips have turned tragic over the years, worldwide. The ocean is tough and dangerous. The crew of the Ocean Way would agree. They're lucky to be alive. Their boat sank off Shetland in 2017 after they noticed it was filling with water. They called for help, and rescuers quickly arrived by lifeboat and helicopter. The fishermen jumped into the sea just before their boat went down. The weather was terrible, making it hard for rescuers to reach them. Luckily, all 5 were saved, cold but okay, from their unexpected swim. The MTS Oceanos was once a magnificent ship, and its sinking marked one of the most dramatic incidents in South Africa's transoceanic travel history. Originally launched in 1952 as a passenger and cargo ship, the Oceanos later underwent extensive renovations to become a renowned Greek cruise liner. In August 1992, while cruising near South Africa's coast, the ship faced severe weather with 40-knot winds and 29-foot swells. An engine room explosion caused it to lose power, leading to rapid flooding throughout the hull. Water filled the ship, overflowing from every shower, toilet, and drainage system. With the vessel beyond salvage, all passengers and crew were fortunately rescued by the South African Navy. People living near mountains often face landslides. In this video from northern India, where the majestic Himalayas stand, another landslide sends people scrambling to avoid rocks and trees tumbling down. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. The sky forewarns of an imminent disaster, signaling the fierce storms that Mother Nature is about to unleash. It's both terrifying and mesmerizing to witness. On October 4th, 2023, flash floods and a glacial lake outburst flood from Lunak Lake severely affected the road connecting Chenang to Lakan in North Sikkim. The disaster caused extensive damage, washing away bridges and disrupting access to the Luchin and Lakan Valley. Turkey faced a crisis following a powerful earthquake on October 30th, 2020. The 7.0 magnitude quake struck deep in the Aegean Sea between Turkey and Greece, with its epicenter near the Greek island of Samos. The city of Izmir in Turkey bore the brunt of the damage. Earthquakes can trigger secondary natural disasters like volcanic eruptions, landslides, and tsunamis. 2 Turkish men learned this firsthand when they narrowly escaped during a casual day at the beach after the earthquake struck.
Evet bakın oraya tsunami geldi kuzen yürü. Geldi hadi gel. Tsunami arkadaşlar çabuk Tufan. Çabuk. Aha geldi hadi hemen.
They might have been all right, but risking their entire car getting swept out to sea wasn't worth it. Initially, the waves didn't seem threatening, but then they noticed a large wave rushing towards shore. Perhaps next time, they'll avoid the beach during a tsunami warning. The Izmir earthquake was so powerful that people as far as 200 miles away in Istanbul felt the ground shake, according to the New York Times. Most of the damage was concentrated around Izmir, a city heavily dependent on tourism. Fortunately, those in the video managed to walk away unscathed. In Himachal Pradesh, 2 drivers were navigating a flooded road during a heavy downpour when a massive landslide occurred right in front of them. Had they been driving faster, they might have been buried under it. Fortunately, the driver in front saw the danger in time and started to reverse. After such an incident, it's wise to conduct thorough inspections of similar areas. On November 13, 2002, off the coast of Spain, the MVMS Prestige disaster occurred, marking one of the worst environmental catastrophes in recent history. The ship suffered structural damage and began leaking its cargo of over 77,000 metric tons of heavy fuel oil. Despite efforts to tow it to safety, the MVMS Prestige eventually sank, releasing its entire load into the sea and causing extensive environmental devastation along the coastlines of Spain, France, and Portugal. This disaster prompted stricter regulations regarding the design and construction of oil tankers, including the adoption of double hull designs to prevent similar oil spills in the future. In snowy mountain areas, spring is the most dangerous time because of frequent avalanches. As the sun warms the snow and ice, they become heavy and wet, quickly sliding down slopes and sweeping away everything in their path. Climbers in the French Alps filmed this typical spring avalanche. It mixed with a stream and ended its fast descent at the bottom of the valley, where the spray of water created a rainbow, a stunning sight. People usually don't realize how strong cyclones are until they see it themselves. That's what happened here. The Mediterranean cyclone dumped a huge amount of rain on Genoa, with the amount of rain in just one day hitting 4 times the usual monthly total. This caused streams and rivers to spill over, flooding streets and washing away everything in their path. Just think, a few days ago, it was a normal town, and suddenly it was overwhelmed with a massive flood. It's pretty shocking, isn't it? Whether it's a small car or a large bus, nothing can withstand the force of nature. Luckily, the driver and passengers reacted quickly and avoided any serious harm. The driver's fast response deserves commendation. In 2007, the container ship MV Costco Busan hit the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge. The accident happened because the ship's pilot failed to navigate correctly in the fog. This collision caused a significant spill of heavy fuel oil into the bay, damaging the environment and affecting local businesses. The MV Costco Busan incident led to changes in ship pilot training and certification, as well as improvements in shipping lane markings and navigational aids. This video from Hastings, a seaside resort in southern England, shows its beautiful cliffs and the strong tides of the English Channel, making it a great spot for walks. The person filming captured an epic moment where a layer of rock sliced off the cliff and plunged into the waves. Luckily, they were filming from a safe distance and weren't swimming or near the water when the rock fell in. The Wellington Hotel, a tourist landmark at 871 7th Avenue and West 55th Street, has been around since 1902. The way it was demolished is probably the most interesting of all. Curious? When it was time to tear down Albany's historic Wellington Hotel, a 1905 building that had become a home for many stray cats, the city council decided to make it exciting. They planned a loud fireworks display to go off with the controlled demolition, giving spectators a daytime show before the smoke cleared. It's hard to find someone who hasn't heard about what happened in Dubai in mid-April 2024. This financial center of the Middle East was hit by unusually heavy rains, which are rare for that area. The streets quickly turned into rivers, surprising everyone. Locals are accustomed to drought conditions, and tourists were expecting hot, dry weather. But instead, nature had other plans. Travelers were especially taken aback by the sudden change in weather. Airports were flooded, leading to many flights being delayed or canceled. It just goes to show, no matter what plans people have, nature always has the final say. The main thing to remember is that a landslide isn't a spectacle. It's a dangerous and unpredictable event that can be deadly for those watching. The noise of a landslide is deafening, and you can hear people screaming as they try to get away. The camera shakes because the ground is trembling from the massive landslide. Chaos and panic are what you feel when a large chunk of rock comes crashing down. It's a strong reminder of nature's uncontrollable power and the dangers that can be anywhere. The waters around Ternate are part of the Maluku Sea, known for its diverse marine life and rich coral reefs. A ferry collided with a jetty in Ternate, Indonesia, because strong currents stopped it from docking as planned. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but the repair will be expensive. Have you ever seen such huge waves? In San Sebastian, they're a common sight every fall. Tourists even travel here just to see them, and it's truly a spectacle. Some even walk along the waterfront to experience the thrill of a big wave coming in. I bet it's even more amazing to see in person. The key thing is to stay safe while you're chasing that thrill and getting soaked by a large wave. Landslides are really scary because they can happen without warning. This rock looks harmless, right? But it actually knocked down some power lines, and now the locals will have to go without electricity for a while. Prolonged rain can cause soil erosion, and the destructive landslide in Sierra Leone is a clear example. After heavy rains, the landslide surprised residents early in the morning. A massive mud flow buried entire neighborhoods, leaving only destruction behind. Hundreds of people lost their homes, many lost their lives, and dozens went missing, with some confirmed dead. Recently, a Canadian city experienced severe flooding due to heavy rain and melting snow. Extra water from the mountains was supposed to be drained away, but it ended up flowing into the city instead. You can see how the strong current is quickly destroying roads and the foundations of houses by the river. It's shocking to see all that hard work get wiped out so fast. This lovely city in Brazil, with its gorgeous views and relaxed way of life, seemed almost like paradise, didn't it? But look at it now. A huge flood has not only covered the roads, but also almost engulfed homes. The water rose so high that it reached the rooftops of some houses. It's amazing how quickly nature can turn lives upside down. The best way to avoid future risks is often through a controlled blast that causes a planned collapse. Look at this well-executed operation by geologists and demolition experts in Norway, designed to protect port elevator workers from potential dangers. While they can't predict every fragment's path with absolute certainty, they made sure the rockfall happened only after everyone was evacuated. In Yibin, a city in Sichuan, China, with about 4.5 million people, something extraordinary happened to a very lucky driver on a rainy day in August 2013. Lee was driving on a country road in the mountains when suddenly, huge rocks started falling from the mountainside. Lee quickly reversed his car, just as another boulder landed right where he had been stopped moments before. Amazingly, he got away without a scratch. It was a double miracle. Lee drives on this road every day, but it had never been so dangerous before. He waited another 30 minutes to see if more rocks would fall, and only continued his journey once the rain stopped. There was no way to predict the appearance of such massive rocks on the road. It was pure luck that saved him in those crucial seconds. Some demolitions are important to the community because they mark the end of an era. The Sears Merchandise Building in Philadelphia is one such building. Built in 1923, it was the largest concrete reinforced structure in North America. However, it was closed in 1993 due to Sears' declining business. The next year, the new owners hired demolition expert Eric Kelly and used over 12,000 pounds of dynamite to clear the way for a shopping mall. More than 50,000 people came to watch before Kelly triggered the demolition. Some mountain trails in northern India are too dangerous for beginners. For example, heavy rains eroded rocks, causing a rock slide that blocked the trail. Fortunately, nobody was injured in the landslide, but about 40 tourists got stuck and had to wait for evacuation after the path to the nearest village was blocked. Can you imagine the shock in sunny Italy when a fierce storm struck Catania? The locals could hardly recognize their own town. For several days, the area was battered by heavy rains and strong winds. Think about those who had to get to work in those conditions. They were dealing with nearly 1.5 feet of rain. Because of nature's abrupt change, authorities had to issue the highest danger alert to keep everyone safe and prevent any harm. The path of a landslide depends on many factors and is nearly impossible to predict. It can seem like there's a force guiding it. Watch how the dust wave from the landslide engulfs the bell tower of the old church like a tsunami. Amazingly, the historic church came out almost unharmed. The large debris that could have destroyed this Italian landmark didn't reach the church. The Tesla might be one of the coolest inventions lately, but it's still no match for the force of nature. Just look at how the car held up in that huge hailstorm. If you can even call that holding up. Fixing this damage is going to be really expensive for the owner. On November 16, 1997, the U.S. launched its first new icebreaker ship from New Orleans. This uniquely designed ship was launched sideways. Everything seemed fine until the heavy vessel hit the water, causing a surge of water, dust, oil, and debris to spray onto the viewing platform. About 20 spectators were injured, with some having broken bones and multiple cuts and bruises. The ship created a much bigger wave than expected, leading to the chaos. A fascinating video shows a rock slide on a forested shore, filmed from a passing boat. This was taken in a small town on the Pacific coast of Chile.
Wow,
The people seem more fascinated than scared by the event. Big rain clouds are always striking, but these pictures from Argentina are truly amazing. Thunderstorms don't happen often here, so for many people, it was their first time seeing such a huge storm front. It almost looks like a road made of clouds in the sky, doesn't it? Usually, Ugar and Waterfall isn't that big, but recent heavy rains have made it much larger. The intense rainfall and rising water levels caused several problems, including the waterfall overflowing. The overflow flooded the downtown area and the waterfront, covering the ground floors of many buildings with water. It's a tough situation for the locals, who likely never expected their beloved waterfall to cause so much trouble. Even if you're hiking with a guide, stay alert. Look at this. The hikers in the video were descending from the top of Mont Blanc when they saw a huge rockfall. It's a good thing they weren't in its path, or things could have been much worse. This valley in Saudi Arabia is so green because it gets extra water from a nearby dam. The water flows all year, making it look like a lush oasis compared to the dry areas around it. It feels like a scene from a fairy tale. Interestingly, the people here don't seem to rush away from the strong water currents. For them, it's just a normal day.
Çiğnendik abi. Gel buraya. Çiğnendik.
It's no wonder that locals love to come and see this beautiful spot, and even enjoy the thrill when the dam releases water. When nature does its thing, it's really captivating. The launch of the Wagenborg ship was a spectacular event. When this impressive ship was launched for the first time, many spectators gathered to watch. Many stood right at the edge of the bank near the water. As soon as the ship hit the water, it created a huge tidal wave that swept over the grass. Realizing what was happening, many people ran as fast as they could. Others didn't notice as quickly, and one person even fell into the water. The rush caused a lot of expensive cameras and phones to get damaged. In some places, dealing with mountains' quirks is as normal as dealing with the weather. In the mountain province of the Philippines, landslides happen almost daily, often changing people's plans.
Wow!
Residents frequently face traffic jams caused by landslides, as the falling debris blocks their only route, a winding road around the gorge. The Seaforth Towers, named Churchill and Montgomery, were built in the 1960s and had become old and unattractive. This led to the decision to demolish them. However, Churchill and Montgomery didn't come down easily. Despite 2 attempts to blow them up, the towers stayed standing, leaving the crowd and residents both surprised and frustrated. Frustrated former residents had to spend the night in a hotel after the explosives failed to demolish the Seaforth Towers. The unsuccessful detonation left some neighbors angry as they couldn't return home after waiting for more than 10 hours. The anticipated demolition caused road closures, and many people had to stay outside a special exclusion zone until the work was done. After the first attempt failed, a second try also didn't work. Contractors then brought in a high-reach excavator crane called the Glasgow Pulverizer, which demolished the towers in stages, taking down 3 floors each day. The entire process took 10 days, including debris cleanup. A private firm hired to investigate the failed demolitions found that concrete-filled steel pipes were the reason for the unexpected strength of the towers. The pipes, which were 15 to 20 millimeters thick and buried 8 inches inside the concrete columns, had not been detected before the explosions. As a result, the building settled onto these columns and didn't collapse as planned. The main issue was the lack of accurate information provided to the contractors and specialists, leading to delays and extra costs. To clear space for a new gas-powered plant, an old coal-fired plant in Yorkshire had to be demolished. The spectators looked really excited to see it, didn't they? Residents in an Afghan province faced nature's unpredictability when a sudden mudslide began rushing down the mountains. It moved so fast that stopping it was impossible. Before long, the mud reached the city and filled the streets. People were scared to be near the moving mud, so they took cover wherever they could. Many climbed onto their rooftops. You can imagine their fear. Anyone would be terrified by such a powerful natural event. Watching ice break off from glaciers is one of the most amazing natural events. Each year, over 12,000 icebergs of different sizes break off from Greenland's glaciers. While it's fascinating to see, it requires caution, especially with large icebergs.
Okay. Jesus, nah.
When they break off, they create strong waves, and ice chunks can suddenly appear in unexpected places. Glacial carving can be scary, but it's also incredibly beautiful. This huge piece of ice resembles a gem. Just so you know, glaciers hold about 69% of the world's fresh water. As they melt, they supply fresh water to rivers and lakes, which is vital for farming, drinking, and daily use, especially in dry areas or when there's a drought. The sinking of the Quinta S, an old freighter ship in Corpus Christi, Texas, was captured on film as it was given a new purpose beneath the waves. The 155-foot ship was intentionally sunk in 2014 to create an artificial reef, providing habitat for marine life. Previously, a vessel for crew and cargo, the Quinta S now rests in about 75 feet of water off Mustang Island in the Gulf of Mexico, marking its transformation as it approaches its 40th year. The Quinta S has joined the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department's Artificial Reef Program, becoming the largest ship reefed since the sinking of the 473-foot Texas Clipper off South Padre Island in 2006. It now enhances the Corpus Christi nearshore reef, designated as MU 775, spanning 169 acres with 470 concrete pyramids and culverts. Originally launched in Japan in 1976 as a rusty, outdated cargo vessel with no historical significance, the Quinta S now serves as an underwater habitat for marine life and a popular site for scuba divers. This transformation proves there's still life in the old ship yet. In 2007, the container ship MV Casco Busan collided with the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge. The accident was largely attributed to the ship pilot's failure to navigate properly in foggy conditions. The collision led to a substantial spill of heavy fuel oil into the bay, resulting in environmental damage and disruptions to local businesses. The MV Casco Busan incident spurred changes in ship pilot education programs and certification requirements, along with improvements to shipping lane markings and navigational aids to prevent similar accidents in the future. The sinking of the Kraken was a significant event. This massive ocean vessel, measuring 371 feet long, was the centerpiece of the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department's Artificial Reef Program. It was intentionally sunk 67 miles off the coast of Galveston to enhance natural reef systems in the area. Crews spent over an hour drilling holes into the ship, and once valves were opened, It sank to the ocean floor in about an hour, settling at a depth of 140 feet in the Gulf of Mexico. With natural reefs scarce in this region, the sunken ship has become a popular attraction for divers and a sanctuary for marine life. Before being repurposed as a reef, all hazardous materials were removed and properly disposed of, greatly benefiting the habitat and boosting the diversity of marine species now thriving there. For climbers, chunks of rock of varying sizes hurtle at dangerous speeds, often bouncing unpredictably off cliffs. It's a real challenge, where quick reactions and a bit of luck are often their only saving grace. A strong 6.8 magnitude earthquake hit near Luding County in Sichuan Province, China. It occurred at a depth of 16 kilometers and triggered numerous landslides in the area. Rescue operations are currently in full swing after a section of an under-construction tunnel collapsed at Kunnela on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway in Ramban district early Friday. Several workers were injured, and there is a possibility that many others are trapped. It's believed that around 10 workers are still under the rubble awaiting rescue. The USS Arthur W. Radford, a Spruance-class destroyer built by Ingalls Shipbuilding, was launched on March 1, 1975. Named after Admiral Arthur W. Radford, it served in the United States Navy, primarily as a gunfire support ship for peacekeeping missions. Commissioned on April 16, 1977, it faithfully served for 26 years until its decommissioning on March 18, 2003. On August 10, 2011, the USS Arthur W. Radford was intentionally sunk off the coast of Delaware to create an artificial reef in the Atlantic Ocean. Former crew members, including Combat Systems Officer Douglas Warner, commemorated their ship by lighting cigars as it went down. Spectators from the Cape May Lewis Ferry witnessed the event, initially uncertain if the ship would sink, until water entered larger holes, causing it to descend rapidly. Today, the wreck serves as the Del Jersey Land Reef, the largest artificial reef on the East Coast, providing a habitat for marine life and a destination for divers exploring its historic depths. In April 2017, a video emerged showing the demolition of a hotel in Jiangsu Province, China. This footage surfaced just 2 days after the tragic collapse of a 6-story hotel in Quanzhou City on the evening of March 7th, which resulted in injuries to 70 individuals. On August 30th, 2022, the cargo ship OS-35 was preparing to leave Catalan Bay with a cargo of steel bars and 400 tons of fuel. At the same time, the Adam LNG had arrived in Gibraltar after unloading in Malta. During their maneuvers, these two vessels collided in Catalan Bay. The bulk carrier's hull was breached upon impact, causing an oil spill in the bay. The OS-35 partially sank and was moved to the bay's east side to contain further damage. While the bulk carrier sustained significant damage, the LNG carrier was only slightly affected. The collision forced the bay to close for 4 hours, resulting in a rapid oil spill. Such ship collisions not only harm infrastructure and cargo, but also devastate ecosystems. On May 10, 2019, the Genesis River, an LPG carrier registered under Panama's flag and measuring 230 meters long and 37 meters wide, encountered a serious incident in the lower Houston Ship Channel. While preparing to depart Houston, it took on board 2 pilots. During navigation down the channel, the ship entered the barge lane and grounded, veering towards the center of the channel. This trajectory led to a collision with the Voyager. The Genesis River collided with the Voyager, breaching the barge's number 2 starboard and port tanks. This incident caused the loss of 11,000 barrels of refined product used for gasoline blending. The collision resulted in significant damage to both vessels and led to the loss of critical fuel resources. In the next clip, near the sea sub, observers anticipated the event as hundreds of birds were seen flying around and over the building just before its demolition. On December 9, 2019, the APL Mexico, a container ship flying Singapore's flag and measuring 328 meters long and 45 meters wide, arrived at the port of Antwerp. During mooring, it broke free and drifted across the harbor, colliding with the DP World Pier crane. The incident occurred due to the absence of tugboats to assist the vessel, resulting in the snapping of 7 mooring lines. To regain control and prevent further damage, the ship's main engine was activated. Despite this effort, all stern mooring hawsers broke, causing the vessel to drift into the Ganzi crane on the opposite side of the Durank dock, leading to its collapse and destruction. The ship itself suffered hull and propeller damage from the collision. When the cargo ship MV Rock Carrier sank off Mumbai in August 2011, it posed significant environmental concerns due to its cargo and the oil it carried. The ship, carrying 60,000 tons of coal, approximately 290 tons of furnace oil, and 50 tons of fuel oil, sank during stormy weather while en route from Indonesia to Gujarat. After the sinking, authorities had to quickly address the environmental impact as oil began leaking at a rate of about 1.5 to 2 tons per hour. The spill spread rapidly, affecting beaches and waters up to 79 miles from the vessel. An aerial survey was conducted to assess the extent of the slick, prompting immediate action to neutralize and clean up the oil using dispersants. Fortunately, all crew members were rescued before the ship sank, ensuring no human lives were lost. However, the incident highlighted the risks to marine life in the area, emphasizing the importance of swift response and environmental protection measures in maritime emergencies. HMS Annapolis, an aging Canadian destroyer that served the Royal Navy for 52 years, was retired and intentionally sunk to create one of 8 artificial reefs off British Columbia. The decision involved extensive preparation and legal debates over environmental concerns, such as the paint's potential toxicity and its impact on water quality. After safety assurances, it was designated as an artificial reef project to establish a long-term marine habitat. The 371-foot ship began attracting marine life within a year of sinking, and sonar scans ensured no nearby marine populations were affected when the once mighty warship was detonated and settled at the bottom of North America's southernmost fjord. In the 1980s, one of the world's largest container ships was the Seawise Giant. During the Iran-Iraq War in 1986, the ship suffered extensive damage from an Iraqi airstrike. Despite efforts by the crew, the Seawise Giant was eventually declared a total loss. As one of the largest and most advanced ships of its time, this incident had a significant impact on the shipping industry. It prompted increased emphasis on security measures in response to the attack, leading to the implementation of improved defensive systems on many container ships to mitigate potential threats. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated with our latest videos.